Okay, hi everyone. This is Dory, and this is the first attempt at Meet the Creator. So Beatrice is going to be joining me in a moment. What we'll be seeing today is Beatrice's project, which is actually related to the current coronavirus outbreak, and she created a coding project that explains. Actually, I'll just let her explain what it does, and I'm just showing the Imagi chart now. So kind of giving away part of the secret. But what I have to
Oh,
do,
that's fine.
I'm still new to the whole streaming landscape. But what I'll have to do now is to switch over to our call with Beatrice. So she's already here and ready to tell you more. Okay, so now you're on, Beatrice. Hi.
Oh, awesome. Okay, hi everyone. Yeah, I'm also very new to this, so no idea how this will work out. So hopefully people can give feedback. Is there a way for people to give feedback on Twitch or like comment?
Great question. I think there is a commenting section. There's a chat room, yes. So people can definitely chat while we are live, and then afterwards, we'll be sharing the video on our platform so that we can get feedback and in the future probably improve based on that.
Awesome. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna join this call now again, or should I just share my screen?
Maybe just share
What do
your
you think?
screen then.
Okay, so I will share actually recording of my phone. So you will get to see my phone screen. Let's see. Is
Okay,
that
I think that looks good, and I'm gonna switch off my camera from here so it's not taking up any bandwidth. Okay, so let me just do a quick edit on the streaming software. Sorry, I just want to put your code sort of like in the center. So that will take me a second. Okay, now it's back on. So yeah, please tell us about your coding project.
awesome? Okay, so for those of you who have been using our app, hopefully some of these concepts will be you will already be familiar with them. But I will try to go through everything and explain as much as I can without boring people who already know some of these things. And after the live stream, I guess you're always more than welcome to reach out to us with questions if I went through things too fast or if something was not clear. And also, you can always reach out with through Twitch through the chat. That being said, let's get started. So this is one of my projects. I can find it here in the create section of the app, and I called it Wash Your Hands. I think it's a very fitting name. You have seen it already on the imagi charm that Dory was showing, but I can quickly show it here in the app as well. So let's verify the code and preview it. So there's this in-app preview functionality where you can see the result of your project. And if you don't have an imagi charm, because we have not shipped them yet, then this is a great way to see what you're coding.
Nice.
Okay,
I
so
also, sorry, meanwhile, I'm gonna show the magic charm one more time on the side to
oh
get
yes,
yeah,
perfect. Okay,
okay, great.
let's do that one more time. Let's
Yeah,
do it.
exactly. Okay, cool. So tell us about the code.
Yes, so I used a lot of different concepts in this project, and some of them are things that you don't use right away when you start coding, but I will just go them line by line as I use them. So
Great.
one of the first things you will see here in line 4 is that I'm importing this rand int function from the random Python library, and it's a function that generates random integers. So I will be using this function at some point. For now, we can skip. And the next few lines are definitions of different functions that I'm using. So these functions are actually just defining the shape of a particular, let's say, object from my animation. So for example, the first one, define drop, is defining the shape of the drop. So I have two lists, X and Y. These I'm using as the indices for the pixels that create the shape of the drop. And then
Okay.
I also use a parameter for this function called C, which is actually the color of the drop. And so I loop over the indices and I assign C to each element in the matrix at the indices defined by X and Y.
I feel like you could take up
So
a whole tutorial with just this because this is like a new
I
way
know.
of using our matrix in the app. But anyway, now I finally got to know it because I haven't had the chance yet to dig deeper into your code. But yeah, that's good.
Yeah, it's as I said, it's introducing quite a few advanced concepts. I try to make this code as short as possible, so I'm trying to use a lot
And
of
by short, you mean like 80 something lines, right? Yeah.
yes, okay, maybe it's not
That's good.
very short.
Okay.
So yeah, if you have questions about this function, just message us in the
Mm-hmm.
chat, and I can come back to it. Then let's see, moving on. Next function is soap. So as you can probably tell, that was referring to the soap in the animation. And if we just quickly look at the animation again, you will see drop, soap. So
Okay.
the soap is a rectangle, and the way I create this rectangle is actually using two for loops. So I use one loop to loop over the rows between 3 and 5, and then another loop to go over the columns, so between 3 and 6. So this one is a bit, let's say, easier. And then I create a rectangle again by using C as a color parameter.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Then I also have a function for the faucet, or
Mm-hmm.
is there another way to call a faucet? I mean, I think that's the word. Here too, I use the same style from the very first function, from the
Mm-hmm.
drop, where I create lists of indices and I define the shape and
Cool.
use C for the color. Then let's see, for the water. Oh, now here we have something more exciting. So you will notice that for this function, I not only pass the color as a parameter, but I also have another dx parameter, which
Yes. What
I
is DX?
uh,
I should
yeah.
figure it
So
out. Wait, I have to look at this. So what's happening?
yeah, do you have any guesses what dx could
Oh,
be?
wait. So DX. Maybe I should look later when you call the function to figure out what's happening there. But was it like
Uh,
something with the placement of it? No. Wait,
so
but it's the water. Hmm.
Yeah, that's how about we actually do that? I can comment out very quickly the most part of the code.
Right, I
So
can
I
do it.
will,
Okay.
and sorry if things are jumping a little bit here on the screen. So um, uh, at the very end of the code,
Mm-hmm.
after I define all these functions, I'm
Right.
actually calling the functions and
Oh
using
yeah,
them
I
to create the
see.
animation.
Mm-hmm.
So what I can do is let's just skip explaining all of these other functions all the
Mm-hmm.
way to line, let's say 56. I'm just
Okay.
defining more and more functions.
Right.
And then I will just explain how I'm using the functions that I introduced already.
Mm-hmm.
So before creating my
Oh,
animation,
I think I know what's happening. It's the length of the water because it's dripping out of the tap.
exactly. Okay, but
Yay!
let's see how that actually worked, because I think
Okay.
you have some previous knowledge that maybe our watchers, our audience doesn't have.
Yeah.
So okay, so before creating the animation, I also create three color variables using the RGB color model. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a tuple, or a collection of three values that define how much red, green, and blue there should be in every color. So pink,
Right.
you see it has a lot of red, the first value, and then not so much green and blue. Then
Mm-hmm.
LP, I think this is light pink. Yeah, I think this
Probably.
was the light pink. And I'm actually using it for the bubbles when you're washing your hand with soap, the
Mm,
bubbles that are created.
of
Yes.
course.
And then silver is actually the color of the faucet.
Mm-hmm.
So these are lines 58 through 60. And then
Okay.
starting from 62, this is
Mm-hmm.
where the fun begins. So I create an animation using this animation class. So classes are objects in Python that you can use to define different kinds of structures, let's say, that can hold your data. So in our case, we have this animation class which can have different frames,
Mm-hmm.
and to add frames to the animation, we pass m, the variable that holds our LED matrix values. So before, what I was doing when I was defining the functions, I was always assigning different colors, as you can see here in these lines as well, assigning the colors to, I mean, different elements of M. So now what I do is to add frames to my animation. I actually just pass M, which holds
Mm-hmm.
the colors
Right.
of the pixels. Okay, so the first line after creating my animation object is to call the function drop, and I pass the parameter A. So A is
Right.
actually a color. Can you guess what color this is?
Well, I think I can guess because I was part of the team deciding what that should mean, but I think that's aqua.
Exactly. Yes.
Nice.
So what this function creates up to this point is it fills up M with aqua pixels in the shapes that we defined in the drop function,
Right.
in the drop function definition. And then the next step is to actually add those values from M as a frame in the animation. So
Mm.
now what I do is